It's all good fun. That's all that matters. We're only here for a short while. We best enjoy it. I'm lucky enough to do what I love. Keeps me out here on the bay. Follow your heart, man. Follow your heart. Well, all right. First, welcome to the bay here. This is McNabb's Bay, or the Malagash Basin. It's Canada's first oyster farm. Dates back to 1866 when a fellow by the name of Alexander McFarland. He was in the U.S. and he was living in Nova Scotia. He was an international trader and a shipbuilder. And he seen something down in the U.S. He seen them selling oysters. And they told him down there they were using the railroad and they were shipping the oysters all over the place. McFarland knew that Canada was going to be formed and we were going to have a railway. So he comes back and he gets something that never happened. He gets a lease of the entire bay. He went to the McNabbs and he said, look, we're going to farm oysters. Well, McNabb didn't want to take it on himself, so he said, I'd like to involve my best friend. And his best friend was Stephen Purdy, my great-great-grandfather. Well, I wake up in the morning. I feel the way I did when I was 19 or 20. Then I try to move. The reality comes home to me. But I have so much to look forward to when I drag myself out here and look out the window at the bay. And then when I get breakfast eaten and I get out there, I can go out on the bay, I can harvest. There's always something there that brings me close to nature. Something, it's very difficult for me to put into words. Whether it's my First Nations part of me or whether it's just the way I'm put together or what, I don't know. But there always has been a relationship between myself and the land and the creatures of the ocean and of the forest. I just can't quite put it in words. It's just a feeling, and it keeps me going. Well, the family had been involved in oysters right from the very beginning. So historically, I had heard stories about it. And as I was working at all these other things and running in circles, cackling like a rooster with his head half chopped off some of the time, I needed something to relax. And I always thought if you were going to relax, it'd be a good idea to make money while you were doing it. So I started out with a license to recreationally fish oysters, because that was relaxing and I loved oysters. So then I had the opportunity to move that to a commercial license. So I get commercial oyster license and started doing that just as a hobby because it relaxed me. And so, you know, I knew the industry. Is what basically happened. Well, we're just moving, going up to the lease now. We're just getting this thing started up. Water pump just came on there now. So the development of this thing started back in 1920. And then there was some work done on it here in Atlantic Canada in the 1950s up until about 1963 on using it for oysters. And after I got the oysters growing here, I needed to come up with a way of harvesting a lot of them. I did a real good job of growing them, but I couldn't make money harvesting them. I had to hire too many people and wages were too high. So I got to work looking for a method, and I found this particular design over in England. So the guy that designed it and I actually, we became good friends. And I built this one 25 years ago. It's still growing. It needs, it's on its way out now. This will be the last year for this particular conveyor and harvester. Just uses water jets that flow the stuff back off the bottom onto the conveyor that bring it up, and I pick it off. Very simple, very gentle. Doesn't even kill soft body worms. Anything we don't harvest just goes right over and back into the bay. Well, if you have the right system. Now ours is all based on working in harmony with the bay out there, and the natural cycles that take place in the bay of the oyster spawning and the oyster larvae setting on the sea or on the shell that's out there that forms on a naturally occurring bar. And the starfish don't kill it off because the bar is out of the water during enough of the tide cycle. We take that in the fall and the end of November and we spread it on the bottom and grow it out. And that's basically the way our system works, just a steady harvesting and taking the seed, putting it back out. It's just in harmony with the bay. We keep in mind, you know, we never over harvest because we need to keep that spawning mass there in the bay to maintain what the cycle is going on.
We met through his cousin, who was one of my best friends in Oxford, and we just hit it off, you would say. 45 years we've been married. Well, I do just about everything except for the actual harvesting on the barge. I do a lot of paperwork, although Rachel is starting to take over that as much as possible. She's leaning towards that. But we do a lot of the cleaning, sorting, selling. Basically, anything that goes on in the plant, Rachel and I do.
One of you guys want to explain out what you're doing here?
Well, I'm basically sizing the quahogs, sorting them out of the, they come in with the oysters and the quahogs are together, so I take them out and size them into small, medium, and large. And then we also have to clean the oysters. If there's any seed or a dead shell on them like that, that has to be cleaned off. And then we grade them and size them into many different sizes, small, medium, and large standard, and then 4 different sizes of choice.
And this is Rachel's daughter number 2. And she's a maniac to work. I wish she'd slow down a little bit. But anyway, that's the way it is, I guess. Right? You won't listen to good advice from Dad. If I had my way, I would never charge for an oyster because in the native culture, food is something you share, and an oyster was something that was special in the culture and something to be shared at a party or a gathering or a get-together. But being practical, and thank goodness I have a wife that's a lot more practical than me and a daughter that's more practical than I am, they're able to do it in such a way that I make money and they can keep me going doing the silly things. But oysters are all about a good experience. If you decide you're going to be happy, you got a lot better chance than if you're not determined to be. Whether you have a positive outlook on stuff certainly makes it a lot better than if you say, well, you know, Monday, Jays, Mondays suck. Well, Monday, or it will suck if you start out that way. But you say, oh gee, this is Monday, this is going to be one great week. This is just the first day. Usually go pretty good. If you have a dream, if there's something you want to do, don't be afraid to do it. Because life is really short. And when we get through it, there's nothing wrong with saying I failed at something. But if you didn't try it, you never know.